The cricketing world is saddened by the passing of Anshuman Gaekwad, former India batter and head coach, and he played many other roles as well in Indian cricket. Sanjay Manjrekar, your memories and thoughts on Anshuman Gaekwad and your interactions with him.
I just heard that Ravi Shastri tweeted about Anshuman Gaekwad, and he's spot on because that is the one thing that really appealed to you. So when you came into contact with the guy, that you realized that this was a man of steel. Ronak, in those times, around the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the biggest challenge for people who graduated from domestic cricket into Test cricket was to front up to some real hostile fast bowling. It was pre-helmet era as well. So anybody who did that got the respect of his peers. And Anshuman Gaekwad was one of those guys, and he played in that famous, Our Own Bodyline series. Can you imagine Beamers? And those guys weren't slow. People like Michael Holding coming around the wicket and bowling straight into the body. And there was no counter-attacking. So they were just sort of defending those deliveries, and without a helmet to do that and back yourself up and stand there for the sake of Indian cricket when you're getting 250 rupees per test matches. You're just playing for pride. And these are guys that you won't find in that list of highest run getters for India in today's broadcast. But people like Anshuman Gaekwad, Arun Lal, they will always have the respect of guys who played with them, because from close quarters, you saw that these guys played for the right reasons and set the right example for people like us to, sort of replicate.
I like that you mentioned that. I want you to share to, say, younger viewers on what role a batter like Gaekwad did to perhaps establish a reputation of being brave, front up, to batters like you who would come in years later in Indian cricket. I looked at his record in 40 tests, 22 against the West Indies. It almost seemed like, you didn't have anyone else to go to for that quartet of fast bowling, but Anshuman Gaekwad was ready for the challenge.
People like Anshuman Gaekwad take to bed is that people like Viv Richards, Gordon Greenidge, all these great cricketers had a lot of respect for Anshuman, because they saw every time we came against India, this is the guy who bats at the top of the order. So when Anshuman Gaekwad was dealing with that, you could see a little bit of, understanding, laughter, and, basically respect for the guy who is doing what he's known for best, just fronting up when things got a little too hard. Indian cricket was at that stage when there were certain, big name players who would suddenly disappear from the scene. But people like Anshuman Gaekwad, Arun Lal, Ravi Shastri at the top of the order, they fronted up when, the challenge got really serious.
Even after all these years of Test cricket for India, there remain only a handful of fathers and sons who represented India at the highest level. The Gaekwads were one such, the Manjrekars the other. Any interactions, perhaps on those sentiments? You all shared that in common, among other things?
I don't think we spoke about our dads. In fact, he hardly talked about his dad. And, I played under him. I played a few, zonal matches where he was the captain, and all of us, had great respect, because this is the guy who went out to open and, played bowling when it was the toughest. So he fronted up. In the evenings, he was a guy who could chill. Unlike somebody like me who was still playing the match in my head when I was going to bed. But Anshuman Gaekwad believed in having a good time, just a bit like Ravi Shastri. So, they got along well. And Indian cricket at the time, Ronak, was just about separating, who were the men from the boys. And it was all about going up there and playing against the big bad West Indian fast bowlers or the Australian fast bowlers. And Anshuman Gaekwad would do that. And Mumbai school of batting, and all those guys, who played for Mumbai, those batters were extremely judgmental about those who didn't quite, stand up to the fire. So Anshuman Gaekwad was one of the guys who didn't play for Bombay, but Mumbai batters and Mumbai players had great respect for Anshuman Gaekwad. Mohinder Ramanathan as well in the same category. So Mumbai, players were hard to please. And the guys who made that list of players that they respected, Anshuman Gaekwad was in that list. And I think that is what would give him great satisfaction and maybe solace in his retirement years.
Well, and finally, how should cricket remember Anshuman Datta Gaekwad?
I think it's a good time to remember, respect, acknowledge people like Anshuman Gaekwad. because Indian cricket's flame, because we're talking about Olympics now, the torch has been burning since 1932, and it's currently being held by the Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and the Bumrahs. But from 1932 onward, these are the guys who have carried that flame, of Indian cricket, and have been responsible to where Indian cricket has reached now. So it's unfortunate in today's broadcast that we don't see their names make the top 20 run getters. Even Vivin Richard's name is starting to disappear from that list. But these are guys who helped make Indian cricket what it is today. And Indian cricket should always be extremely grateful for people like Anshuman Gaekwad, for carrying that torch with great pride and set the right examples. Arun Lal is another guy that comes to my mind, along with Anshuman Gaekwad, who are, they've been great servants of Indian cricket. And let's not forget these people while we get obsessed with current stars, which is normal, which happens with every generation. But we must acknowledge and remember the contributions of people like Anshuman Gaekwad.
Sanjay, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts. And of course, all of our thoughts are with the family and friends of Anshuman Gaekwad.
Thank you.